Hey y'all. So it's been a minute. So it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I know I look rough. I get it. But let me tell you why. I've had an interesting 4th of July. First of all, I hope you had a good 4th of July. And we're very safe. I had an interesting 4th of July because I spent mine in the hospital. And you're not going to believe this when I tell you what happened. I don't even believe it. But it got me to thinking tonight, especially because tonight's been the first night since that happened that I've been even remotely back to my right brain, thinking straight, and I've only had this time of night to have any time to myself. So anyway, what I wanted to tell you was Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't feel good. I wasn't sick. Nothing hurt. I just didn't feel good. You know, you have those days when you just don't feel good. So Friday rolls around, and I really didn't feel good. I had a bad headache, and I mean bad headache all day. Now I have migraines, but this wasn't a migraine. It's strange when you say I had a really bad headache, but it wasn't a migraine. But I just had a bad headache all day long, and just couldn't get over it. So after, I don't know, sometime late afternoon, I decided to lay down in my chair, and I did for a couple of hours. I wasn't really asleep. I was just, in that dream state where you can hear everything going on, but you're not asleep. And the more I laid there, the worse I started feeling. So when I got up about 8 o'clock that night, the whole side of my face was hot, and it hurt. And I had this big knot, and I mean like a big knot right here. And then it was sunk in here, and then I had a big knot here. And it was really red. And I asked my granddaughter, Kaylee, to look at it, and what did she think? And she said, well, I don't know. I can tell that it looks different, but I don't know. Well, I mean, this really progressed rapidly. Right after that, I called Frank. And I told him what was going on, and he said, send me a picture of it, because he was out of town working. So I sent him a picture, and he was looking it up on AI, which is what we go to about everything, just about it. My cat's driving me crazy. And anyway, he said, after he got my symptoms, he said, AI says you need to call 911 right now. And I was like, not doing that. I'm here with the 3 grandkids. My mother's next door. I'm not calling 911. Whatever this is, there's nothing emergency like. So as I was on the phone with him and walking around in here, I just very rapidly started feeling very weird. The side of my face started feeling very heavy, very tingly, kind of numb, but heavy. And then that progressed to move down my neck, into my shoulder, down my arm, and my leg. And by this point, I was thinking something is not right. We got to do something. So I got the kids. My mother was in bed asleep. By this time, it's 9 o'clock at night. She's asleep. I got the kids in the car, and I said, come on, we got to go to the emergency department right now. And we did. And thank goodness we did. Because it's only from my house to the emergency department in Bremen, it's only like 6 minutes tops. So we went straight there. We parked right there at the front, went in, and when you go in, you go up to the little glass window and you sign in what you're there for. Well, I leaned over to pick up the pen, and when I did, I couldn't hold it. And then everything in me just went south. I couldn't think straight. I couldn't hold the pen. It fell. My arms started curling up under my neck, and I couldn't straighten up. And I just remember looking straight into the woman's eyes that was behind the glass, and she said, you can sign in. And I was just looking straight in her eyes, and I said, I think you're going to need to help me. And then there went my speech. And it was like everything just went bad really fast. And she come running out with the security guard, and they got me in a wheelchair and wheeled me right on back. Left the kids in the waiting room, just took me right on back. And it didn't hit me until they took me in the triage room and were talking to me, and I kind of could understand what they were saying, and I kind of couldn't. It was just very odd. And then I looked down at my arms, and they were literally up in the air like this, but my fingers were all different directions pointing and stuck, and my arms were up in the air, and one leg was going that way. And it that very moment when I looked down and saw it, the first thought that went through my head was, this looks painful, but it's not. Which was odd to me, because I wasn't thinking straight, but it just seemed odd that I was in no pain, but I looked like I did. But my arms were just stuck up in the air, and I couldn't get them down. And the more they asked me questions, the more confused I got. Well, they went very rapidly, thank goodness. Went on to CT, started drawing blood, just doing everything. Called in for the neurologist to get on this robot camera that they bring in the room, and he talks to you. And I was still, after all that, I was still stuck. My feet were stuck, pointing straight up, my legs straight out, and I could not feel them. And they were just moving very fast and doing so many things. And they weren't sure. They kept saying things like signs of stroke, and something else. I can't think of what it was right now. But anyway, and I just kept thinking to myself, well, this can't be happening. It can't happen. I've got kids in the waiting room. My mama's at home waiting on me. This can't happen. Well, it was happening. So anyway, it didn't take a whole lot of time for them to decide that they could not handle whatever was wrong with me. So the doctor came in for the last time, and he told me that they were transporting me to Villa Rica, where they could do an MRI, and to try to figure out what's going on with me. Well, at 5 o'clock, Frank had to come and get the kids. Let me back up. Frank had to come get the kids. He rushed home, came in, saw me for a few minutes, brought the kids in. That was absolutely devastating. When those children came in that room and saw me and cried and were just absolutely devastated, it was heart-wrenching. It broke my heart. But they were such big girls, and they were so sweet, and they were so trying to understand. And, and I just kept smiling and telling them everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be okay. We're just a glitch in the road. We're going to work this out. It'll be all right. And they were very, very good. We'll take care of each other. We'll get through this. And Kaylee, the oldest one, was just, a doll. She said, I've got this. I know what to do. I'll take care of them. And so eventually Frank had to leave and take the kids home and put them to bed. At this time, I think it was like 12 o'clock. At 5 o'clock in the morning, they finally came and transported me to Villa Rica in an ambulance. And, I've been in ambulance rides before, and I've never been that bothered. Going backwards that night in the ambulance, they really messed me up. I was so sick. But anyway, we got there, and the ball got rolling too, and it didn't stop till pretty much the time I came home yesterday. They did everything. They did an MRI on my head. They did an EEG on my brain. They did sonogram on my heart. Lots and lots and lots of blood work. they had physical therapy come in, speech therapy. There was so much, I can't even think of all of it, because for most of it, I was completely out of my head. Through the EEG, it's strange the things that you remember when you don't really remember what happened. But during the EEG, I remember the woman talking to me and telling me to do certain things. And I would wake up and I would start snoring, and I could hear it. And I'd say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And she'd just say, it's okay, it's okay. And that happened over and over again. And then when the man came in to do the sonogram, I was just, on my heart, I was asleep through most of that. I remember bits and pieces of it, but I don't. It was very strange. But anyway, they gave me something for my migraine, which it wasn't a migraine, but they gave me the cocktail for it, which was that does have, I can't think of what the pain medicine is now that they put in there, but it did have some pain medicine in it, which did probably contribute to that sleepy thing, but I was a little bit out of my head. Anyway, all this went very fast. It was bam, 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 one thing after the other, all night long, all day the next day, walking down the hall for physical therapy so they could see how I walked, how fast I walked, how many steps I took. It was crazy. I had to end up getting a walker to finish my walk. But anyway, so this coming up Wednesday, I have to go see the neurologist again, because when I left him there, after all that, they're not real sure what happened. They're pretty sure, there was no stroke, at least not a major one. They did talk about a mini stroke. They talked about a brainstem migraine. I'd never heard of that. And I've had migraines since I was 21 years old, and I'm 59 now. And I never heard of a brainstem migraine, but you can have it. And they also talked about seizure activity and other things that I can't remember. But up to that day, up to Friday, for about 2 months, right here, this fatty part of my hand, I've been having severe cramps right there. I mean, to where it looks like a deep V, you can see it. I've been having these cramps all over my body, not really cramps, but almost cramps, all over my body, my feet, my legs, my arms, my back, and my neck. Just, it's like this had been building up for 2 months until that happened. And I remember vividly when I got out of the car, I was kind of okay, but then I was like, hurry, 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 kids. And then when I hit the doors of the hospital, it was like I was walking like I was drunk, and I sounded like I was drunk. It's bits and pieces that stand out to me, and then some of it's just completely gone. Anyway, got out yesterday evening and came home and slept a lot through most of the time after I got here, all night last night and a good portion of today. And now it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I feel pretty much normal. There's whatever that was, it's still got some things going on in my head that aren't quite right. But anyway, all that to say that puts your life into perspective when something like that happens. That you don't really realize sometimes how quick something in your life can change and change everything. Now, what I've thought of since then was, what if I had a stroke? I mean, God forbid, what if I'd have died? But what if something really bad had happened? Who was going to take care of these kids? Who was going to take care of my mother? What were they going to do? Yeah, it. And I've said this before. It's strange that I've said this before, and I'm saying it again now. But now it's different. I'm not scared of dying. I know where I'm going when I die. What I'm scared of is who I leave behind. What are they going to do? Are they going to be okay? Or these are kids. These are 15, 11, and 6. They're little girls. They need me. I need them. My mother has dementia. She needs me. It makes you, you kind of think all the time of what you're doing with your life and who needs you and all the things that you do for other people. But then when something like this happens, it really puts it into perspective of, my gosh, what would have happened if, because the first time that it really hit me, and it didn't hit me again until last night when I got home, was when I looked down and saw my arms stuck like they were and realized I couldn't feel them, and they weren't tired from being up in midair. My elbows were up like this, and I can't even do it, but I was so wrapped up and twisted with my hands. But I remember thinking, it doesn't even hurt. And it was such a strange feeling. And what if that had been something really bad? So anyway, I know I keep repeating myself, but it is so strange that I can't help it. And so it's made me look at things a lot different now. I saw fear in those girls' eyes that I've never seen before. And even the baby, as little as she is, as scared as she was, she did not fall apart until she left me in the hospital. And when she was coming and telling me bye over and over and over and over and over and over again before she walked out the door to leave that night, she was smiling and crying all at the same time. And bless her little heart. And they all were. But she's 6. And then for them to make videos for me, to tell me how much they love me, to send me text messages as soon as they got home, before they even got home in the car. The whole time, if they weren't at the hospital with me, they were making messages, sending videos, making phone calls. How their lives would have changed so drastically if something bad had have happened. And it's just made me realize how blessed I am, absolutely blessed to have these children, to have my mother still, she's 82, to have Frank, who's so good to me and so good to these girls, and takes such good care of them if something happens with me being sick, And I don't know what I'd do without any of them, and I'm just so blessed, and it just makes you think when something happens, because we just go about our lives every day and just hope and pray, It's just another day, you get up and you start doing your day, and it's just, you just kind of somewhere in your head, it's just, things are just going to go and be fine, and that's what I thought Friday, until that night, and everything changed for me. And even though I'm well now, as far as I know, it's got my mind absolutely thinking of how different things could have turned out. So anyway, that's one reason I haven't made a video in a little bit. I just had not felt well before that, and then that happened, and then here we are. But anyway, I'm so glad that y'all were still here listening to my stories. They're not always fun, are they? No, they're not. And I sure hope y'all had a blessed 4th of July and celebrated and had a good day and a good night and a good rest of your summer. We haven't been able to take a vacation all summer and go anywhere because my mom is taking care of her, and that's okay. But sometime after that, I feel like I just need a vacation so bad. But it'll be okay. We'll get one. When it's the right time, we'll do it. But anyway, I know this video's went on a little bit longer than it usual, but I had a little more to tell you this time. Anyway, I'm so thankful y'all are listening to me, and I love you all, and I hope you're having a good day, and I'll see you on the next video.